Now, Nigeria's House of Representatives is pushing back against criticism that it has failed to deliver on its reform agenda. Deputy Committee spokesman Philip Agbese says the 10th Assembly has exceeded expectations, passing 198 bills in under 2 years. He highlighted key laws on student loans, cybercrimes, the national minimum wage, defense, and small arms control. Agbese added that the House has introduced over 2,100 bills, held more than 500 committee meetings, and carried out dozens of oversight visits and investigative hearings. He also pointed to the Speaker's Open Parliament initiative, which includes citizens' town halls, youth summits, and consultations on major reforms. Lawmakers, he said, even donated half their salaries to 6 months of support relief efforts. On constitutional reforms, the House leadership is backing the reserved seat for women bill, which could boost female representation. Agbese argued that despite Nigeria's economic and security challenges, the House has made real progress and should be judged by results, not what he called unrealistic benchmarks. Now, are the House of Representatives fulfilling their promises? Project Director, Advocacy Foundation, Habib Sheidu joins us now for a chat on this. Welcome to Newsday. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thank you for having me here. Welcome.
Now, in your article, it notes that 48% of tracked promises are broken, and 70% of short to medium-term commitments are abandoned. How did advocacy determine these ratings? What evidence and methodology underpins all of these trackings?
Yeah. So since the 7th Assembly, there's what we call the legislative agenda. And the agenda actually is like the contract with Nigerians. They call it the contract with Nigerians. So it highlights all what the Assembly wants to do within the 4 years. And in that agenda, you have the short, medium-term, and long-term pledges. For the short term, it's supposed to be, I think the timeline is 2023. For the medium-term, 2025. For the long-term, 2027. So what we have done is just to pour through this legislative agenda and extract the ones that have high socioeconomic importance. And when we moved there, we got, I think we have about 51 of them, as you just clearly read. And out of the 51, we are saying that about 48% of them have been broken because based on the House's timeline, they have been broken. And we have through our promise tracker, because we have a digital platform that tracks these promises, and it's a open source, and even the response from the House of Rep actually did not speak about us actually using a proper methodology. It just said that we have not holistically look at what they've done, but we are looking at the agenda that they've actually said, the promises that they've made, and not all the bills. We are looking at specifics that we think that have high socioeconomic impact that can improve the economic and social well-being of Nigerians.
Indeed, so 198 bills in 2 years. Is that something to cheer about? And have those bills been impactful on the lives of Nigerians? I remember not too long ago, the same the House of Reps were complaining that bills sent to the Red Chamber are not easily dissected and passed on time as part of the issues here. But when you take a holistic look at it, have they actually, impacted the desires of Nigerians who, through these bills are saying more needs to be done?
Yeah, certainly. First off, if you look at the promises that have been broken, they are ones that have high socioeconomic impact. Like, for example, they want to increase the health budget. And we all know that about the global politics that USA have left our health sector. And because of that, we need to increase our health budget, right? And there's an Abuja declaration that said they are going to allocate 15%. And in the legislative agenda, it's actually promised that 15% would actually be allocated within the medium term. And now this budget, and that's the medium term ends June. And in our last budget, was actually 5% of our budget was allocated to the healthcare. And if you know that, if you are very compassionate, you know that we don't have health in our hospitals. We do not have education in our schools, right? And again, they promised to actually amend the UBEC Act to actually increase consolidated revenue fund from 2% to 4%, but it's still at 2%. So these are, and the gas flaring bill as well. Like I tell you, if you go to Niger Delta, people are getting blind. There are a lot of issues around gas flaring because what we have currently in our legislature is pay to flare. right? Which what we are saying is that we are doing gas flaring as a service, so it's profitable to flare gas, right? And we are saying, and the House have actually promised that they will pass an anti-gas flaring bill, and this promise is actually within the medium term, but that's why not been passed. So,
and even before then, the gas flaring bill has always been an issue, and every successive government, they're always pushing back the date at which they're going to end gas flaring. So it's unrealistic as of now.
Yes, certainly, because there are a lot of agenda. The oil companies are also lobbying, and like every other person is lobbying, because if gas flaring becomes not profitable, they will have to create gas capture infrastructure to actually make sure that these gas are not flared, and of course reduce their profits. And of course, as you know, in every polity there are a lot of agendas. So we are just saying that let us, if it's the people's house, they have said it's the people's house, so let us actually pass legislation that's for the people, and that's what we're saying.
Well, apart from legislative agenda, advocacy has other civic tech tools. For instance, the original promise meter, campaigns like promise reminder, and all of that. How do these support public accountability, and have they influenced citizen behavior in any way? Certainly.
Of course, that's why we are here, because they are responding. We've had only one state that we've actually focused on. That's Anambra State, through our Sheidu meter project, where we looked at. We have been having, of course, like I've been on TV in the East to actually have back and forth with special advisors, of course, because again, we believe that if you look at our policy, you see that by next year, governance will be grounded because of the politicking, right? So it means that our democracy beyond the election have not bring this dividend of good governance a problem, and that's why it's important that we use all of this meter, the Sheidu meter, as we said, the promise reminders, we use letters, we use FY. We are also moving into using strategic litigation for advocacy, right? Because we believe that this period is the period, within this period that we should have the dividends of democracy. And that's why, democracy is actually backsliding across West Africa, because it's not providing good governance. And that's why we are saying to the House and all elected officials that we are here to watch you and want you to course correct. We are not against them. We are partners in progress. I see it. Let them see it from that.
And it's always good to keep people in public certainly. Well, so it's a good development there. Yeah. I'd like us to look at specific bills like the Whistleblower Protection Bill, and of course the Police Act, which have not been fully addressed according to critics and observers. And to a large extent, the Police Act itself was supposed to address something to do with the wives of police, but all it did was just to extend, the tenure of IGPs as it were. So, what are your thoughts on that?
So the Whistleblower Protection Bill is actually like in the committee stage. It's also but the one of the reasons that we have brought this to the public is that first, they expedite the IGP's tenure, for example, and we are saying, this whistleblower, like currently, we don't have any legislation that actually protect people who expose corruption.
And yet there's this, encouragement that people should come forward with information.
Yes, exactly. And
their identities will be protected.
Yes, and there's no legislation to protect them, right? What we have, so we need to, these are bills that should be expedited, right? If we want to fight against corruption, for example. And the amendment of the Police Act was against discriminatory clauses for gender, right? Because as of today, if you're a married woman, according to regulation 127 or 126 of the police regulation, you cannot join the police, right? We are saying that let's allow those all the clauses that are against gender to be expunged, and of course there's a bill by Kafilat as well in the House that's currently in the House, but and that's why we are, because somebody came out, the Jigawa, I don't know if you know about the Jigawa House of Assembly member who came out to say that they pay out up to 3 million naira to actually get their bill passed to the big boys. We don't know the big boys, but to the big boys. So these issues is like there are a lot of interest and competing interests, and that's the major issue that we're saying. That's why we are here, because of course democracy is without active citizens leads to civil oligarchy, and that's why we have to continue to put our voices there.
Interesting, because in your piece you quoted the spokesperson responding. So it looks like you've been getting some kickbacks or let's say some feedbacks from that piece, calling them faulty and also saying that you didn't do a thorough job. But what does such defensive posture indicate about the legislature's receptiveness, especially when it comes to accountability and transparency?
Yes, I think that anytime they see a report or an accountability mechanism like this, I think as leaders, the first thing that you should do is to reflect on things that have been said, right? Have we said anything that is wrong? We are not here to fight. What have we said? If you see the Deputy House spokesperson, for example, he never picked up all of the issues that I've highlighted and say they've done this or they've done that. He just go ahead and be a referee. He's a referee and a player in the pitch, right? There are specific issues that we have talked about. What I would have expected that we have timelines. We are going to do this at this time. We are sorry for because we need servant leadership in Nigeria. That you have to understand that you are at our service, right? If we say you have not done this, it's for you to come back and say, sorry, we have missed our deadlines, but we are going to course correct, right? And that's what we want to hear from them. And because we use social media a lot, and we posted the picture of the spokesperson and put promise book, and that's why he responded by saying that our advocacy is faulty. He never questioned our methodology because we have experts and researchers that. So he just questioned our mode of because the National Assembly is used to lobbying, and we are saying that no, that's not the best way to. We need to keep you to account by saying what you are not doing right. We are not lobbying for bills. We have no interest in any bills. We are just saying do what you have said that you are going to do that have high socioeconomic impact, and that's all.
It's interesting that groups, I don't know how much advocacies are, in trying to keep, public servants in line, and of course in trying to do what is expected of them. Yeah. But let me ask you this, beyond your groups probing and trying to get them, to do what they're supposed to do, what about the constituents themselves? Are they proactive in that regard? Because you find out, yes, they're representing them, but at the end of the day, it's even to get in touch with those representing you is also a problem. What are your thoughts?
And of course, that's some of the promises that have been broken as well, because they have actually said that there will be liaison office in all the 36 states for the State House of Assembly. It's currently broken. They also said they will create an e-petition, so that we can sit everywhere, and if you see an issue, you can petition. If it makes sense, it goes straight to the house, feedback, right? To see the issues, because you are representing people, right? But now we are in a digital age. We need to connect to our leaders. We can't be in Abuja. If I want to submit a petition, I need to go to Abuja to submit a petition, right? So, and those are the promises that we have also said you should keep, and they are broken as of today.
So would you say that the people, as a constituent, are enlightened enough, especially as to know what to demand for? Because talking about the e-petition and, of course, the digital, processes, some sources report some modest progress, especially when you look at the sign language interpretation and when you also look at town halls. We see a little bit of that. But critics are still saying that, the impact is limited, especially when you look at engagement with the stakeholders.
I don't want to speak about civic education because it's a big issue as well. I believe that our democracy is still young. We have, talking to a lot of Nigerians, you see that they really do not understand democracy as much. Honestly, they do not understand democracy. So if you don't understand democracy, it's hard for you to understand why, if the person is represented. But to be honest, when politicians come back, when they come out to a constituency, you see the issues that are raised are probably for school fees or that's me being honest. So I think that we have a big role. We have a big role to actually play in infusing civic education to our curriculum. To actually also take it. I don't know how we can take it to the homes because there's an issue of awareness. But we have a lot of people like me and a lot of people that also are interested in doing these things. A lot of citizens. We have because we are a young population. So we have young people that are really we need to have access.
Very good. On that note, Habib Sheidu, Project Director, Advocacy Foundation. I'd like to thank you for your thoughts.
Thank you.
It's good to have you with us.